Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us in weird football week. We have games on 5 days this week: Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So, crazy schedule. And if you really want football on Friday, there's college football. So, there's a lot of football all week. And we're going to just jump right into it. This will be a little bit of a shorter show because it is Christmas. Um, James, I know you wanted to talk about a couple things from last week. Some teams clinching their spots into the postseason, some teams getting eliminated. We'll jump right on into it, James.
Yeah, so we saw pretty interesting thing that we hadn't seen in what was that 48 years. So on Thursday Night Football, we saw the first successful fair catch kick.
Yeah,
Haven't seen that. I've never seen that. Obviously, we're not. You and I both are nowhere near 48 years old, so that was a little fun to see. Chargers got the win in a divisional matchup uh, that was a good game. So we're
yeah,
back on to Thursday Night Football being good games. In the two Saturday games, we saw the Chiefs keep winning. Mahomes looks fine. Gumby, as I call him. It's I guess high ankle sprains don't mean anything to him. Unfortunately, we saw Tank Dell suffer a brutal injury. Uh, Last I checked, it was a dislocated knee and torn ACL, so that sucks. I believe he tore his ACL last year. That's two season-ending injuries in his first 2 years, which sucks for a young, talented receiver like him. We saw the Ravens and Derrick Henry especially dominate the Steelers, and Lamar finally got a win against Pittsburgh. I had mentioned last week that he was, I believe, 1-4, maybe 1-5. He had only, Pittsburgh was his kryptonite, but he finally got the W, got that off his back. We saw the Rams rally late against the Jets. Rams are looking like a team that could maybe make a little bit of noise in the playoffs when they're fully healthy. I think they could theoretically beat anyone. Their offense wasn't humming this past week, but we've seen it. We saw it against the Bills. We saw the Commanders get a much-needed win, much to the something you never like to see. But Jalen Hurts got concussed and was out, so that's not good for Philly, but good for the Commanders to get that win. We saw the debut of Penix. The Atlanta defense was definitely who showed out in that game. But Penix, I thought he was fine. He made some good throws. He did have an interception, no touchdowns, but it was his debut. We saw the Bengals stay alive. Their their playoff hopes are alive. We saw the Vikings get a big win in Seattle. Jonathan Taylor rebounded with a monster game, and I laugh a little because he was coming off the stupid fumble at the going into the end zone. So he had two massive runs for touchdowns, and it's kind of funny. He held on with both hands into the end zone to make sure he did not let go of the ball. Lions are still really good. Gibbs is looking like he can be a bell cow. I mean, that guy, the question going in, not that anyone, I wouldn't say it was a big question, but I mean, I'm sure there was some people like, okay, Gibbs has never had full control of the offense. He's always had Montgomery with him. What can he do with 20 to 25 carries? Well, he might be one of the most, if not the most dominant running back currently in the NFL. I mean, a lot of people might still say Derrick Henry, but I mean, for what Gibbs can do through the run and the pass, I don't know if there's a better running back right now in the NFL. The Patriots made Josh Allen, look mortal. They squeaked out a win, but Allen did not look great. Unfortunately, Sean and I's Arizona Cardinals were eliminated by the Panthers. The Dolphins stay alive. The Raiders screwed themselves by winning that football game. The draft is not going to be as good as they could have had it. Sorry, Raider Nation. And in the Sunday night game, we saw the Bucks lose to the Cowboys, who are surprisingly looking like a decent football team with Cooper Rush behind center. And because of that, the Bucks have now lost control of their playoff fate. So they have a chance to get in, but they need a lot to go their way, and they can't control any of that. So those are my notes. Sean, if you have anything to add on, go for it. If not, we can make this short and just go right into picks.
Yeah, I just want to add just two things really quick. Dallas played really strong in that Sunday night game. Defense looked really good. It was surprising. The team is eliminated. Now they're playing lights out. They had a great defensive effort in that one, and the response to the Philly Washington game was wild. I mean, Washington turned the ball over 5 times. Philly, who had come in with a long winning streak into that one. The Philly fans, Philadelphia is nuts. I mean, they're like calling for people's heads after that game. I mean, they haven't lost in like 3 months, and like Philly's nuts. Like, but hopefully Jalen Hurts
They're a
gets
crazy
back.
fan base.
They're nuts. I mean, I heard some of the stuff on TikTok, like after the game and like their radio shows. They're crazy. I mean, you would swear the team has lost 9 games this year, and they're like hopeless. It's like, my goodness, you lost 6 seconds to go. I mean,
And
Washington.
your quarterback was hurt. It's not like
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, this is nuts. Yeah, but outside of that, I think he covered it pretty well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this week. Week 18 could be kind of a dud this year, honestly, with the amount of teams that have already clinched. But let's jump into Week 17 in the matchups. As I said, 5 days this week. We'll do it fairly quickly. We'll start out here, Christmas Day. Kansas City taking on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Who do you got?
gotta stick with the Chiefs, I guess. I mean, they just can't lose. So I hope it's a good game, but I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win this one. I think it'll be close, but they will lock up that 1 seed, and I see everyone taking a week off going into Week 18. I think they win this one. Baltimore taking on Houston in Houston.
Houston just has too many injuries to me. They just can't seem to quite get fully healthy. I saw that they did pick up Deontay Johnson. They claimed him off waivers. Not sure how quickly he'll be able to be ready. So it's really just the Nico Collins and Joe Mixon show. And honestly, Stroud hasn't been the Stroud we saw as a rookie. So I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens as well. I think they still have quite a bit to play for. They got to lock up the division. Texans have already locked up their division. I think they need to just get healthy, especially with the scare of what happened with Tank Dell last week. I think Baltimore comes in guns blazing. Houston's like, we're going to get the 4 seed. I think they're going to take it easy. Moving on to Thursday night football, Seattle heading into Chicago. Should be interesting weather for this one.
Seattle showed me way more than I thought they would against the Vikings, even though it was a home game for them. Geno Smith looked healthy. I thought he was going to be a little more banged up and immobile, but he looked solid. We saw DK finally score a touchdown, something he hadn't done since like week 7. Chicago's just too much of a mess, so I like Seattle.
Yeah, I like Seattle too. They've been a little bit Jekyll Hyde for me, but a little bit definitely more consistent than the Chicago team that has been all over the place. Granted, they did show up a little bit of a fight, threw up a lot of offense against that defense, that Detroit defense last week. But I'm going to take Seattle. I think it's a safe pick. We'll move to the Saturday games. These games have a lot of clinching possibilities. The first one, the Chargers head into New England. If the Chargers win, they lock a playoff spot.
I like the Chargers. I think they rebound after or no, they won. They won last week. Never mind. Disregard what I said. Chargers are going to win.
Yeah, Chargers are going to win. I liked how New England's played recently, but Chargers, I think, win this one. Exactly the same situation here with... Whoa, that's loud. Chill. Exactly the same situation with Denver going to Cincinnati. If Denver wins, they clinch a playoff spot. Cincinnati, if they win, they keep their hopes alive.
Both teams obviously have something to play for. I think the Bengals offense shows out just a little more. I think this actually might be a high-scoring affair, just kind of like in the Denver Chargers game the week prior. I like Cincy. I don't know why. I just keep kind of trending with the Cincinnati team. Their offense is so good. Burrow is having such a good year. Chase is the best receiver in the league. I'm taking the Bengals to keep that playoff hope alive.
I agree with you. I think this is actually going to be a very good game. I'm going to take Denver. I think they just come out with a little bit more fire. Cincinnati, especially on the defensive side of the ball, has been just so inconsistent all year. I think it is going to be high scoring. I think we're going to see something, 34-28, something like that. But I think Denver comes out ahead, and I think Cincinnati's defense is the reason they lose this one. Final game on Saturday could have been exciting, but as you said, Arizona's already been bounced. Arizona heading into LA playing the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams. It's a home game. It means more for the Rams. Like you said, Cardinals are eliminated. I'm curious to see which Kyler Murray shows up. I mean, obviously you play for pride. I know you don't want to just like tank the season, but it's probably going to be a pretty demoralized Cardinals team. So I'm taking the Rams.
I'm going to take the Rams too. I don't have much to add on that one. It was unfortunate to see them lose on Sunday, especially to a Carolina team playing for nothing. Move to Sunday's games. A lot of these games I think will not be totally close, just being completely honest. Jets heading into Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo. They know how to win, and depending who you talk to, they're the best team in the NFL. Josh Allen's the MVP. I'm taking the Bills at home.
Yeah, I'm going to the extreme of even saying if this game's close, I'll be surprised. I think Buffalo wins, and I think they win pretty handily. One of the better games, probably the best game on Sunday, Green Bay heading to Minnesota.
I'm taking the Packers in this game. I I don't know why. I just kind of feel like the Packers can win this. But yeah, this should be a really good game. In that AFC North, I mean, talk about just a minus Chicago, just a really good division. And even some of the podcasts I've listened to, people have said that Green Bay is a Super Bowl contender. So I mean, they look tough, and they're honestly they're kind of the third team talked about in that division. You have the Lions, obviously having the season they're having. The Vikings are considered kind of like the came out of nowhere team, and they're just killing it. And people are kind of sleeping on the Packers, but don't sleep on the Packers. I'm taking them to win.
Yeah, I mean, I see this one going either way. I mean, I've really liked Minnesota this whole year. I'm gonna take Minnesota just because they're playing at home. Playing there, that crowd's gonna be riled, and they're gonna be excited. The crazy thing about it, and no one's really talking about this. We're one little flip around away here from Minnesota winning that division. As good as Detroit has been, Minnesota has been right there all along. They're going to come in with a fight. Green Bay, they do need quite a bit to happen to win the division. I think they're pretty much where they are is where they're going to be. But yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota here. I think it can go either way. It's been a great division, and yeah, it's loaded, but I'm going to take Minnesota. Kind of the stinker bowl here of the week 17. Las Vegas heading to New Orleans.
I don't really have much to say about that. I'm going to take the Saints just because they're at home, but this shouldn't be that fun of a watch.
No, I'm gonna not say much. Saints, same deal. Let's see what happens there. Colts could still be having something to play for depending on what happens Saturday. So Indianapolis heading into New York to play the Giants.
I'm taking the Colts. They got playmakers at least. Anthony Richardson's looking halfway decent. Jonathan Taylor is coming off a monster performance. The Jets are the worst team in the football, and they need to keep losing for a quarterback. So I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Colts. Very similar reasons, and they actually might have something to play for. Carolina, who actually looked really good, bounced Arizona out of the playoffs last week. Going into Tampa Bay, who needs to bounce back from that Dallas loss.
Yeah, this actually could be a pretty good game. I'm curious to see what Bryce Young is like on the road. He looked really good against Arizona, and it looks like he might actually be the long-term, quarterback for Carolina, especially if they start bringing in some pieces around him. But they have a lot of really good young talent. Unfortunately, they are traveling to Tampa, and Tampa doesn't have control of their fate, as I mentioned earlier, but they need to win. So Baker's going to do anything he can. I mean, that guy's a grinder. Talk about if John Gruden was still around, he's a Gruden grinder. So he's going to kill himself to win this game if need be. So I'm taking Tampa.
Yeah, I don't have much to add on that one. I'm taking Tampa Bay, exactly the same reasons. Very impressed with Carolina here these last few weeks. Definitely building momentum going into next season. Real Jekyll and Hyde season. Remember the first month we were all like, "This is awful." They actually look pretty good. Another kind of stinker bowl matchup: Tennessee heading to Jacksonville.
Again, another kind of like the Saints Raiders game. I'm just taking Jacksonville because they're at home. So I'll take the Jags just because they're at home.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. Don't have much to add on that one. Miami
Oh, look
also.
out for Brian Thomas. He's been having a really good
He's
season.
great year, great year. Some of these teams that are bad, do they do have good receivers? They just they have so much to build on though still. Miami might be playing for something this week too, depending on what happens Saturday. They're heading to Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. Cleveland again. Now, I mean, they're starting their third string quarterback at this point. Um, Taking the Dolphins just because they at least have something to play for, so you'd think they'd be fired up.
Yeah,
But it is in the cold, so we'll see how Tua does.
yeah. It might be a trickier game, and obviously it depends on what happens Saturday. But at this point, give me Miami. Um, Yeah, give me Miami. Last two games of Sunday they're interesting. Dallas, who looked really good on Sunday night, playing a Philly team that may or may not have Jalen Hurts. It is in Philly though. Who do you got?
I don't know. Even without Hurts, you'd think that they could rely on the run game. I just can't go with the Eagles. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. I'm taking the other team. I just blanked on who the
Dallas.
matchup was,
Yeah,
but I'm
Dallas.
taking Dallas. I'm taking
Yeah,
Dallas. Dallas actually looks halfway decent. Defense is actually playing pretty well, and Cooper Rush is actually slinging the ball pretty solidly. So if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, I'm taking the
Dallas.
Cowboys. If Hurts plays, I think the Eagles win this,
Yeah,
but we won't know. So
I'm gonna take the bet that he plays. So I'm just gonna take Philly. I'm just gonna take the bet that he plays, and they're trying to still get that first seed, the first overall seed. So I'm just gonna take Philly. I don't know. I have nothing much else to say on that. But a lot is still to be seen, obviously, with Hurts being an unknown. Sunday night game, two teams that actually control their own destiny into the postseason at this point. Atlanta heading to Washington. This could be really exciting.
yeah, this could be a good game. And honestly, now it's a two rookie quarterback battle. I'm taking Jaden Daniels in Washington though. I think they just have a little more congruency when it comes to offense all season. And yeah, I still need to see something out of Penix because I don't think the defense is going to have two touchdowns again.
Yeah,
So I'm taking Washington.
yeah, I'm going to take Washington as well. I think they're going to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in quite a few years now, and they're going to do it at home, which will be exciting. Uh, it's Monday night game on paper 4 months ago looked like it could have been game of the year. It's kind of a dud now. Detroit heading to San Francisco.
Detroit. I'm not even going to say anything about this game. Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit, San Francisco pretty banged up. Too bad that game didn't happen in September. Would have been a lot more fun. That said, that's pretty much the wrap up of Week 17. James, anything you want to add before we log off here?
No, just have fun watching football. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. I don't know. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy your holidays.
Yep, likewise, and enjoy all the wonderful football, basketball, college football festivities here over the next week. It's a lot. So, guys, have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you guys next week.